Show your work. Show your work. I have just finished reading Show Your Work by Kleon. Again, always find it a book that I come back around to whenever I want to kind of get back in touch with my overall creative process. When you're rereading a book, there's whatever stage of life you're at is a new stage than the previous time that you read the book. So it starts to give you things that you didn't pick up on that first time around. So there's a couple of main takeaways that I want to share with you. It really is a great book for encouraging you to share your process and share your creativity, and get over that kind of hump of thinking that, why would you bother? Why do people care? And the main reason that people care is because of the same reason as to why you watch other people share their process. I mean, for me, it's somebody like seeing the process of the Beatles in Peter Jackson's documentary. That fly on the wall, this is how they work, this is how they come up with stuff. I mean, that's the gold in there. That's the stuff that you want to go, oh look, they're just normal guys sitting around and they have fights and they have one person maybe driving more creativity than the other, and it's all behind the scenes. And if you had asked them at the time, would you like to share this, they probably would have said no way. So it gives you that sense of openness to sharing, and also from a place of sharing it generously, and not kind of gatekeeping all the cool stuff that you're learning. That's a really important thing. It's like, if you think something is cool, or especially if you think something is really helpful, share it. Don't keep it inside. Sharing can help to foster community, and that there's other people involved in your process, and it's not just this lone wolf sitting alone in your studio trying to figure things out all for yourself all the time. And it can feel like that. It can really, really feel like that, especially as a musician and a composer. If you're working, well, music, I think, has become more solitary of an activity than it used to. It used to always be solitary in terms of like when you're practicing and when you're coming up. Yeah, there's a certain amount of time that you have to spend on your own to be able to make music to a certain level, and that is important. But what else is important about playing music with others? And I think with the onset of digital audio workstations and being able to kind of create so many different things by yourself, it's important to remember that it is a shared experience. It's a communal thing. Something else that came up in the book for me was about intentional documentation, which is also a concept by a creator called Nathaniel Drew, who is really, really excellent if you're looking for somebody to go check out when you're trying to share your process and share things that go on in your mind. He's really, really good. So I took kind of 4 takeaways of intentional documentation is vlogging and talking about your thoughts and your day-to-day and the stuff that you think this is the stuff is really, really boring, but it's actually quite interesting to others. Journaling can be great but it also can be a little bit self-indulgent and time-wasty. For me personally, I think journaling, when it really, really works, is when you have some very positive prompts and quite specific things to journal upon. I think where journaling falls down for me is the morning pages style brain dump journaling. Sorry, Julia Cameron. Her book is excellent, The Artist's Way. Yeah, sometimes I like journaling, but sometimes I find it's a handle with care kind of situation. Photography for me is a big one. I love photography, especially film photography. And becoming a reporter of your own life. This is trying to make note of the small things that influence you throughout your day, your week, your months, your years, and making a note of it. There's a great book called The Second Brain by Tiago Forte, which is a way of assembling all these kind of resources and repurposing them and synthesizing them for extra use later on, which is fantastic. I should have all these books and be putting them up. These are the main things that I got from Show Your Work, which is also about like share the influences from other places that influence you. So I'm only doing what he said in the book. So yeah, an example of this for me, this reporting on your own life and keeping kind of little notes of things that inspire you, is I was at a talk recently with Paul Hartnell from the band Orbital, and he mentioned about using a monosynth, which is just a synth that can play one note at a time, and using four of them together. So you have four instruments that can only play one note at a time, and then blending them together into kind of a texture. And that little idea was enough to spark, a whole sound exploration or a little sonic experiment. And they're the things that lead to bigger parts of projects. Being okay with messiness. Now, this is a big one for me. I am not the most fastidious of people when it comes to being really neat and clean, and my creative process reflects that. When I am in full flow of working on something, I have instruments out, I have cables everywhere, I have plugins, screens, I have stuff everywhere, and all of that is informing my creative decision making for the particular project that I'm working on. Like, for example, this video. How I made this video was I read the book, and then I outlined some of my thoughts about the book in a voice note. Then I transcribed the voice note in an AI voice transcriber. Then I put the transcribed notes into ChatGPT to refine into bullet points. And then I'm using those bullet points to kind of give me references for what I'm talking about here. Now, that's really long-winded, and why I did that this time is that the last few times I've went to make a video, I put the camera down and I couldn't really think of what I wanted to say. So I wanted to get my thoughts clear on 3 or 4 of the main points that I wanted to make. And that's why I did it like that. And it's long-winded, and hopefully as time goes on, I can just turn the camera on and talk and it won't be such a big deal. But for now, when I'm trying to figure this out, this is new to me, so that is my process for the moment. But that is what I'm talking about, is a messy process. And it's okay to be messy, and it's okay to have unfinished parts and loose ends and stuff that was experimented on but not finished, and because that's what life is like. I think the best analogy I can make for that is you never look at a tree and go, what a messy tree. But sometimes you do. Maybe you do. Maybe if you're a gardener and you go, that needs to be pruned in a perfect way. Maybe this is a bad example. But if a tree is left to its own devices and growth, it'll grow to however long it wants. Some branches are longer than others. Some branches seem healthier than others. And yeah, the tree is natural. I think that's my point, is that your creative process is natural. And, it's something that you should embrace and share. Now, you can come at me in the comments if you like, if you are the most organized and decluttered and everything has a straight line. Good for you. Well done. For me personally, that's not exactly the way I like to work. But what I found is in collaborative work, it really, really helps if you work with somebody that has that mentality. If you're a colour outside the lines person and you can find somebody to work with who's a colour only inside the lines, then if you can get on well enough, the sum of your moving parts will amount to more. That's kind of it. So it's not a synopsis of the book. It is more, as you can probably tell, it was more about when you're trying to refine how you want to share things, go back to the things that inspire you. And one of those is this book, Show Your Work, which is really, really an excellent way of sharing what it is you're working on, sharing your process, and sharing how you think about your process. Show your work, but not necessarily the final product. Obviously show your final work, but show how you got there. Find a way of documenting your day and becoming a reporter of your life in a way that speaks to you. Start becoming a little bit more comfortable with the messy, with the unfinished, with the demos, the sketches, the drafts, the scrapbook style. Because believe it or not, that's what people want to see. That's what I want to see from an artist. I love to see how they, as a guitar player, I love to see how somebody got that sound for that song. Yeah, let me know in the comments how you document your own personal creative process. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share, subscribe, all that stuff. I have a really small channel now. I'm trying to grow it. I'm trying to figure out YouTube, and I need all the help that I can get. So I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.